Okay, so let's begin. I think firstly, thank you to all secondary 2 students, all right, for joining us and staying back for this particular briefing, right? And why do we have to brief all of you guys for this right now is because we do want to make sure that the same message is communicated to everyone, okay? And I think by now your teachers should have given you I think now all your teachers should have given you the instruction handouts, right? So you should have the instruction handouts with you. So please follow along as I explain what this HI is all about, okay? All right. 2-6. Are you guys good to go? Okay, so what is this secondary 2 historical investigation all about? So the historical investigation is basically, right, an extended learning experience through which students, right, so all of you will get to do history by carrying out actual research for yourselves. So instead of us, instead of the teachers just giving you guys the sources of information and then you make the inference, you do the comparison, you find out the purpose from the source all the time, right? Instead, now you guys will be the ones trying to be the historians and trying to find the sources to answer a particular HI question. Okay, so this is actually the historical investigation is actually a project that all lower secondary students across Singapore would have to do. So it's not just, exclusive to Greenridge Secondary School. If you ask around, and I'm pretty sure in secondary 1, you may have had the experience of doing the historical investigation as well. Okay, so this is actually your research question, right? How was life like for the people of Singapore after the Japanese occupation? And you can also follow along with your handout. Okay, so how was life like for the people of Singapore after the Japanese occupation? Which means that you have to find sources of information. Okay, you have to find sources of information to answer this particular question in groups. All right, so let me go through the different stages of the historical investigation first. All right, but before that, right, why do we even ask you guys to spend so much time doing this historical investigation instead of just a pen and paper task? Isn't that a lot easier for you guys as well as for the teachers, right? So I'll just point you guys to the first few points, which is we really want you guys to have the experience of being more self-directed, being more independent in trying to learn history and actually do history, okay? And to engage actively in trying to find your own sources about Singapore's history, and also, okay, to develop the skills to work by yourself independently and also collaboratively in groups. All right. So don't be overwhelmed, don't be intimidated by this particular stages of by this particular graph. It looks very colorful, very massive, right? But this is basically the stages of the historical investigation that we hope you will go through, all right? But the teachers have very kindly broken it down for you guys. Okay, so please flip to page 2 of your handout, the HI handout. All right, you have a big table there, right? That is very clear, that has very clearly shown you which components are individual work, which components are group work, where do you submit your task, the deadline, as well as the marks. Okay, so I'm going to go through it one by one. All right, so stage 1 first, understand the HI question. And if you remember, the HI question is about life after the Japanese occupation, right? So before you can even start to find sources of information for your HI, right, you have to understand what does life after Japanese occupation mean? What time frame are you looking at? Right, so for this particular stage, all right, you will have to do this by yourself individually before your first HI lesson. So this one is really up to your history teacher as to when the deadline is, okay? And for this component, this part will be ungraded, all right? But for the subsequent parts, okay, I am moving on to stage I'm moving on to stage 2, okay, of the HI, which is basically, right, the part where you gather and select sources using different modes of research. Okay, so before you even begin searching for sources, you have to watch a video first, right, on SLS to figure out for yourself, right, how do you search for sources, which sites do you go to, what keywords might you want to choose to use, okay, and all of that. I'm not sure why I have so many students from 2-6 who are joining this individually. Okay, you should be in the classroom now. All right. Okay, so okay. Sorry. The rest of the classes, please wait a minute. Okay. Okay, I am gonna move on, right? As I was saying, right? For stage 2 of the HI, what you have to do first, right, is to watch on SLS, okay, a video about how to research, what keywords do you use to search for sources, right? Which sites do you go to find the sources of information, okay? And after that, after you found your sources, okay, together and select 2 sources individually by yourself and then record and describe it on your Google document, okay? Those who just joined this Zoom, can you please mute yourselves? All right. So I'm going to now move on, okay, I'm going to move on to stages 3 and 4, right, of your HI, which is the part where after you have already found your sources in groups, so your group would already have an entire compilation of all the different sources, right? You've come together, you've individually researched, you found each of your sources, you've recorded it on your Google Doc. Okay, so now what's going to happen is that you will have to make inferences based on any two of your group's sources. So it doesn't have to be the source that you found personally, individually, right? It can be sources that your group mates have found as well. Okay, just to answer the HI question, how was life like for the people of Singapore after the Japanese occupation? All right. And following that, okay, there will be the next stage, the very last stage is stage 5 and 6. Okay, so please flip to the page 10 of your handout. Okay, so what happens in this stage? Now that you've already come together, you've made your inferences, you found your sources, you made your inferences for all of your sources. What you do now is that you have to come to a conclusion, right, to answer the big HI question. How was life like for the people of Singapore after the Japanese occupation? Okay, and then you present your group conclusion using an end product, which can be we've offered different options that you can choose to do. It can be either soft copy or hard copy, right? It could be a video, it could be a poster, it could be a newspaper article, or even you can take the perspective of someone who lived in Singapore after the Japanese occupation, right? And write letters and diaries. So long as, right, any of these end products would work, so long as you answer the HI question, right? You have enough evidence, right? You have enough, you use the sources of information that you and your group mates have found, all right, to answer the HI question, okay? And the last stage, right, the end product will be due only in term 3, okay, which is what I'm going to come to next. All right, the total marks, all right, for your HI, okay, your HI is actually your WA3, 15%, but why we're starting it so early is so that you guys have enough time, right, over the June holidays to finish up your inferences to start on your group and product as well. Okay, so the division of marks is as such, okay, individual contribution 10 marks, group contribution 20 marks. For more information, you can actually look at the rubrics at the last few pages of the handout. All right. I believe your teachers will also go through the rubrics in more detail as well. Okay. All right, so now we come to the timeline, right? When is the deadline? When are the deadlines for all these different stages? Okay, so first things first, stage one, before your first HI lesson, please ask your history teacher when this is due. Okay, your history teacher will tell you after this briefing as well. Okay, and stage two, 28 May 2021. So stage two is you gathering, finding the sources, recording it in your group Google document, okay, which your teachers will set up as well. All right, so this is due in the last day of school this term. All right, 28 May, that's the last day of school this term. All right, stages 3 and 4, which is your making your inferences, will be due term 3, week 1. All right, there will be a Google form link for you guys to submit your inferences. Okay, and last stage, stages 5 and 6, okay, will be due in term 3, week 3. That's when you'll give your teachers your end product, whether it's in hard copy or soft copy over email or in hard copy, okay, by term 3, week 3. All right. So as you can tell, we've planned it out quite nicely, right? You have a lot of time to finish this historical investigation. Okay, so I've come nearly to the end of this briefing, right? Just to end off this briefing, what should you do now? Okay, so first things first, I think for those classes who have had group lead who have already their groupings assigned to them, okay, please choose your group leader. Okay, your if not, your history teacher will also be telling you guys the different group assignments. Okay, so choose your group leader first. All right, and then you can begin on stage 1 of your SLS package. All right, it's just 2 questions to understand what even is the entire HI question about. Okay, so it's just 2 questions. This is ungraded, but this is mandatory for everyone. It's compulsory for everyone to finish this, even though it's ungraded. Okay. And if you are confident, right, even before the next lesson, you can continue on to stage 2 on SLS, right? Watch the video about the research process before you come to class for your HI lesson. And then in class, in your history lesson, okay, you can begin on trying to find sources, trying to start your research process, okay, with your teacher's help. Okay, at this point, does anyone have any questions? If you do, you can either type in the chat or you can unmute and let me know. Okay, perhaps if not, Mr. Chu, does Tuan have a question? No?
No questions.
Okay. Okay, if not, right, then teachers, you can take over if you want to show your class the groupings or answer any other questions that you may have, right? You can continue. Okay, so thank you very much everyone for joining us today. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Adios.
Thank you.